have a very exciting panel discussion on the future of media and journalism. We are gathered here to explore the evolving landscape of media, the challenges facing journalism today, and what lies ahead for this crucial field. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have an exceptional panel of experts who will share their insights and experiences. I'm going to invite the distinguished panelists to the stage and introduce them. Our first panelist is Mr. Prasanta J. Baruah, Executive Editor of the Assam Tribune. With his extensive experience in the field of journalism, Mr. Baruah has been a prominent voice in shaping the editorial landscape. His perspective on the future of media will provide us with valuable insights. Ladies and gentlemen, please join your hands together as I invite Mr. Prasanta J. Baruah onto the stage. Next, we have Mr. Sandeep Phukan, Associate Editor at The Hindu. Mr. Phukan's work spans various facets of journalism, and his analysis on the role of traditional media in the digital age will particularly be enlightening. A warm welcome to you, Mr. Sandeep Phukan, sir, onto the stage. Our final panelist is Ms. Sangeeta B. Pisharoty, National Affairs Editor at The Wire. Ms. Pisharoty's expertise in national affairs and investigative journalism brings a critical viewpoint on media's role in democracy and societal change. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Ms. Sangeeta B. Pisharoty onto the stage. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce our moderator for today's session, Mr. Karma Paljor. Mr. Paljor is a senior journalist and editor-in-chief of East Mojo. His deep understanding of media dynamics and his editorial acumen will guide today's discussion efficiently. A warm welcome to you, sir, to moderate the session. And I will request Divija Rajkaur, Director, Assam Tribune Digital, to kindly come forward and do the needful. I will request you to felicitate Rajkaur for the felicitation, and I will now hand over the session to our moderator, Mr. Karma Paljor.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction. A very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our conversation. That was the way we used to greet when we used to be in television, especially Sandeep and I. But these days it's, hello guys. That's how they do it in YouTube. I would like to thank Mrinalda for the earlier session because it was very uplifting. Lots of stories of hope that warmed us up, woke us up, because after a heavy lunch, you know, it's difficult to stay awake. So thank you for that session. Now I have your attention. We are going to talk about news. It's not a subject or a sector that gives hope these days. It's mostly stories that don't give so much of hope. Because as someone said, news is broken. Is news broken because we started asking questions like the nation wants to know? Is news broken because we are asking questions like, आपका गांव में सब लोग मर गया, आपको कैसा लग रहा है? So there is a problem with the fundamentals of journalism. It is cracked. Now can we repair it? Some are trying desperately. It is very difficult, Sangeeta will tell you, because the moment you try to stand up and speak the truth, there are troll armies that will bring you down. And we've all experienced that firsthand, how difficult it is. journalists today, not just in India, but world over, are questioning themselves. Because we are running narratives sometimes without even knowing that we are running a particular narrative. All of us would be very happy if we had no advertisers at all. If you supported us, if each one of you gave 50 paise a month to a journalistic organization, we would be able to do journalism with integrity. We would be able to report. But you will throw that 1 rupee, 2 rupees to a temple, or you don't even care. And what is happening at that time is that the fourth pillar of democracy is crumbling, and it's already crumbled. So these are the questions that I seek to cover with these. Now the questions that come to our mind is it technology? Now everybody says adopt technology, adopt technology, adopt technology, adopt AI. Is it technology really? Because we go back to a song by Queen called Radio Gaga. You know, radio, someone still loves you. And at that time people said with the advent of television, radio is finished. Radio is still here. And it's a very powerful medium in the form of podcasts today. What is it? It is radio over the internet. So is it about the medium? And the other key question is it about human resource? Have we journalists forgotten what we have to do, or how we are to do it, why we are doing it, when should we do it? And these are all basic journalistic questions that most of us have along the way forgotten. So how do we cure it? It becomes very easy to do he says, she says journalism. So those who are not running the government narrative are doing he says, she says journalism. Nahi, maine to usko pooch liya. My work is finished. I have taken a quote from so-and-so. My work is finished. Our question collectively is, have you gone to the ground to see it? Have you experienced firsthand? Before I go to my panelists, one quick thing. I was reporting from Uttarakhand when there were floods there. And time and again, we were in Joshimath and people kept saying there are like 1 lakh pilgrims stranded in Badrinath. And everybody was reporting that yes, 1 lakh, and there was panic that so many pilgrims are still. Me and my camera person, we took a helicopter which was going. Whole day we spent going to every dharamshala, every hotel, and we recorded the number of people who are actually there in Badrinath. And by evening, next morning we trekked back. We took about a whole day to reach Joshimath, and then we had the actual numbers in hand. Now these are the basics that are being forgotten and that editors are not pushing for. So with that, my 4 minutes of opening remarks is over. Now I'll hand over first to Sangeeta, who's an old hand. She's, I think, straddled print, wire, so you know. You tell us about the future now. That's the topic. What is happening and what will happen to us journalists and journalism in the future?
Thank you. I need to do the honors first. Thank you, Assam Tribune, for organizing this dialogue, first ever, but much needed. And the topic is fabulous. We're talking about the future, but I will just start with the present. The situation that we are in, because always present, mind you, shapes the future. And so what I come from a digital space where we are trying to do, we believe we are trying to do journalism, but the whole space is, the entire route is fraught with mines. It's very, very problematic. To even, I have been raised thinking that journalism is the fourth pillar of democracy, And that fourth pillar is extremely important because it asks questions to the government of the day on behalf of the people, the public, all of you sitting here. So that's my job. My job is not to collect a salary at the end of the day and head home. But what has happened over the years, in the last 24 years, what I have seen in journalism, having been in the Delhi newsrooms, is that it is from that whole Jholawala journalist idea about all of us. Most of them were drunkards, I tell you, by the end of their career. So, but had many awards and things to talk about, a book to write, perhaps a book that would never get written, that kind of folks we were made of. But today everybody is thinking about where is the next EMI coming from? Which grand holiday am I taking? So why is this happening? It is because the entire, the model of financing journalism or a journalist institution has taken a complete turn. So it is it's the corporate model that has taken over. So then we see now all the worms coming out of it. You're like, everybody is at the end of the one financial year is thinking about how much more my salary is going to go up. So as journalists, we never thought, I actually thought I've compromised with that part of my life because I'm going to tell people stories about people. I'm going to make the government of the day accountable on behalf of the people. But that's not happening. But anyway, these are all personal choices that you make in life. Some of my colleagues did something else, I did something else, because this is what we choose. But what we saw, say, in the last 24-year journey, I have seen now that it is increasingly becoming difficult to question the government of the day. Any state, any central government, it doesn't matter which political party is in power. There is a model that has been put in place, and it is making it extremely difficult for journalists to ask questions on behalf of the people. So who should be worried? I would go back, I may just start a kirana shop. I'll say I can't do journalism, sorry, I'll be selling Maggi noodles. But who should be worried here? It's you. Because a voice would be silence, and that voice is your voice in democracy. So you need to think about that. So what Karma says is something very important. Your 15 paisa is extremely important, please remember. 50, sorry, please increase it to 50 paisa. So your 50 paisa is extremely important, sir, madam. So if you pay that 50 paisa, and there are lakhs of people 50 paisa paying, I am not dependent on that big lalaji who will actually, run journalism. No, I'll not. Okay? So I feel very proud that my salary comes from public donation. So that is a model we at The Wire has been able to set up in India. Strangely, it happened because it actually grew out of adversity, because whoever was funding us was facing problem. So I would not blame any political party for it. I would say it is a model that has been set up and is taken over now. It's the beast is showing its teeth at us. So then this whole model was born, and now common people pay. We have this model of you can start paying from say $2 to whatever you want to pay, but everything has to be over the table. It's not like, you can't give your name and these kind of things we don't do. So everybody is like, it's like a subscription model. Sorry. It's like, you subscribe to a newspaper, so you subscribe to a digital space. So that is what we do. And why am I talking about this? Because digital is the future. We are talking about digital, we just cannot run away because the nature of the beast is such that digital is the model. So I'll stop here. I think my time has run out. Oh God. So that's the problem. You see, we're fighting against time. Okay, any other questions we'll handle later.
I'll grab the mic from you because Sandeep is looking very intently. Sandeep, by the way, I'll stop drinking. So, Sandeep, no, because if you stay in Delhi, you will be a drunkard going to the press club every evening. Sandeep, Sandeep same question to you.
Well, I stopped drinking long back.
Alcohol. You have to take that.
That's because, my routine changed, because, I have to be in my senses to edit and bring out the paper next morning. So, well, first of all, let me start by thanking the management and the editorial leadership of Assam Tribune for inviting me to the first edition of the Assam Tribune Dialogue. I'm truly humbled and honored to be here. As I have often said, that Assam Tribune is not just a newspaper for me, and I think I speak for many of us here, that it's a habit, it's a way of life. That said, our session is about the future of the media, and I'll be very honest that as somebody who makes a living by being a journalist, I can never think that our future is dark, that our future is not very bright. But that said, there are challenges. Let me just list them out, 3 of them. We can, take more as we go along. I think the first challenge that we see is technology. Technology is a big disruption, and you can't. Journalists will have to keep pace with technology. When I started my career, almost 25 years ago, I started my career with the Indian Express. I still remember that for any research, we would have to go to the library of Indian Express and look for files which were this thick, grime-laden, dust-laden files, and you have to dust off the dirt and then go for the particular copy that you're looking for. Now, in digital age, you actually just have to Google it, and it's there for you. So technology made life simpler. Technology has empowered us. It's also changed the way we consume news. Just recall, there was a time when everybody would, the family would gather together before the television set at 8:30 or 9 p.m. news. It was a routine in every family, to get together and listen to the news. In Assam, I remember 7 o'clock news, I think legendary newsreader Pratap Bordolo and others. So we've all grown up sitting before before the television set, watching news. Today, you consume all your news on phone. So that is a big change from the time that we started off our careers. Second change, artificial intelligence is the next big thing that is there, and it can make all of us unemployed,
No, I don't agree, but we can't debate just now.
Yeah, so the third, I don't agree, but I think that it has the potential.
No, it doesn't have the potential.
Then the second point, the second challenge as I see, is another innovation of technology is social media platforms. So today, everybody with a cell phone in their hand, with ideas, they are content creators, some are very good, but at the same time, they can report, they can inform, they can educate you. It's very empowering. So if earlier, if you had to make 3 or 5 or 10 trips to a newspaper office to get your news printed, and the reporter may be busy, they may not have space, they may not carry your thing. Today, all you have to do, if you've seen something, a potholed road or some chaos happening at the airport or at the railway station, you make a video, you upload it on Twitter, chances are that immediately the authority, and you tag the right authorities, chances are that they will react, they will respond, they will respond to your complaint. So it's very empowering. But there's a downside to it, and that is the third challenge. One challenge is that social media has empowered everybody to be what your former channel used to call citizen journalists. CNN, IBN had come up with this beautiful term called citizen journalists, where citizens took up the phone, became journalists, reported on issues that they faced on their everyday lives. But there are some pitfalls, and we'll perhaps in the course of the discussion we can discuss them. The third challenge, I would say, and it's endemic, it's a menace now, it's fake news. How do you actually keep yourself away from fake news? Because fake news is something that each one of us has to fight. And it is again, social media platforms like WhatsApp, which is one-to-one, one-on-one communication, which is hidden, which is not public. See, if some fake news is posted on Twitter or Facebook, you can still challenge it. But if a fake news is passed on through WhatsApp, it's very difficult. So I think that's where, to answer your question, that's where artificial intelligence and everything else fails. A traditional journalist comes handy. So I think these are the challenges, and that is how I see that our future will have to take into account technology and the changing technological landscape, and how do we sort of evolve ourselves to meet. It's no good to say that, well, I'm just a TV reporter, I can't write. Today, a journalist will have to be a TV reporter. He has to report for digital. He has to be in front of a camera. He has to write reasonably well, and he has to do this with great speed, because if you don't do it, somebody else who's not a journalist by profession will do it. And that may not be the best way to inform people.
Yeah. So interesting point you raised, because much of the daily reporting, incident reporting, has been taken over by citizens. Most of the visuals that you see on all the television channels are citizen shot on phones and all. And some of the channels carry Bolivia news as Northeast news, or they confuse Nicaragua with Sikkim, and they confuse Manipur with, So that comes when AI and, fact-checking comes in. So, Mr. Baruah, does having citizens with mobile phones on the ground, shooting and getting us, free journalists up to do the deep diving, the real stories that are needed? Don't hold on to the mic for so long, yeah?
Thank you, Karma. Citizen journalism, as you have said, it's become proliferating because of the smartphones we have, the mobiles. So it's very easy. And one thing is positive is that you get the news as it is happening, because that person is present there and is taking a shot, or of course there might be some aberrations in the presentation. And that is where this sort of citizen journalism, the risks involved, or the pitfalls, or the fake news, or misleading news as you call it, that the news from Sikkim has been shown as something from Manipur, So these are the pitfalls that you face in social media, or when you get news from people who are not trained, or not where the story is not thoroughly processed. And that is where traditional media scores, and where traditional media has an advantage, or the confidence and the trust of the people. Because you say traditional media, whether it's print, broadcast, because we, or radio, we follow a thorough process of inquiry, of cross-checking, and making sure that this story is correct, and that we are not going away from the truth, that facts are sacred, and that what we are going to project is the truth. So traditional media was always very constant. We had a very trained workforce, and we tried to project the news as it is. And we also was very careful in carrying out our responsibility and accountability towards the society. You see, we are very careful because we stay in a country, pluralistic country like India, where we have different religions, languages, ethnic groups, different types. We are always very careful that no news should be projected where, the communal harmony or social, harmony is disturbed. We're very careful about that. that the pictures we gave were not provocative or did not hurt the sentiments of anyone. So we had a set of rules, which are, of course, we are also guided by the Press Council of India, no, which monitored or gave us these guidelines, and we followed it thoroughly. But when in the 90s, when these private channels and TV channels came up, we found that there was no guidelines or they were not following any, these procedures and all that, like, how they should project their news. And I still remember this Godhra incident about all these Ram Sevaks, the train burning, and the TV channels were showing all this, burning of the trains and shouting of the victims and all that. And that was followed by the Godhra riots. So this, I think the media at that time, especially the broadcast media, played a very negative role in promoting disharmony in the society, or that riots and all that. So this is a very important point. Now, you see, there was another thing, because I joined this profession and I had the opportunity of seeing the teleprinter also, and teleprinter fax and all that, so I've covered that journey. And one thing which has struck me, you see, and I think many of us may not be aware, you see the print media, we give you the newspaper, as a subsidized product. The newspaper you buy from us at 8 rupees in the morning, actually the production cost of the newspaper is somewhere around 18 to 20 rupees. So what you're getting is a subsidized product. And in doing so, we try to, I think no business can be run on such a model where you sell your product at half the price. But you say we do it on the assumption that this, this loss or that mismatch will be made up from the advertisements that we will be getting from the corporate sector or even government ads and all that. So that will make up the loss or even give us a profit. So you see, this model, in fact, makes the Indian press dependent on the advertiser, whether it's the government or the corporate sector and so on. So this is, though we talk about the freedom of the press and all that, there was a seminar held in Mumbai, say in the late 80s or 90s, and there were some representatives from Pakistan also present there. And while the Indian speakers were saying that we have no democracy in India, but you don't have democracy in Pakistan, then the Pakistani delegates said that, okay, I admit that because we are being run by a dictator now, or a martial law is there. So you have democracy, but you don't have to say, so much against us, because you are also dependent on the this corporate sector and all that you are not independent as you claim, because since you are dependent on the advertisements to pep you up, so that also gives you pep. So my time is running out, but I have great faith that in the coming years and all that, the future is bright, because good news or being informed is the right of the people, and journalists have to do their jobs. But of course, as Sandeep has said, there will be convergence in the coming days. We will need journalists who are skilled and who can work in the print and digital as well as the other.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So this topic is so deep that we will need at least 2 to 3 hours to cover everything, but we have run out of time. I will request Mr. Abhijit Bhattacharya to help run a program called Adopt a Journalist, So maybe you can sponsor one journalist, all of you, 10 of you can sponsor one journalist. You will get good news. I have saved 3 minutes, 20 seconds for some questions. So please ask questions, and Wire is always open to donation, so you can also donate directly to the Wire. East Mojo's subscription, and so is Assam Tribune. So I'll pitch for all. So 3 minutes for questions. If you have any, please, no statements, ask us a question. Yes, sir.
So there is a lot of piracy of the newspaper. Piracy of newspapers. Because in the morning, without paying anything, I
Congratulations to you, sir. You're a lucky man.
Yeah, it is coming from Muscat and Oman. So some
Is
boy
there-
will be there. He is sending to everybody free of cost.
So you,
Hindustan Times, Times of India, even in magazines like that. I don't have time, but
So-
I don't know. Without paying a single penny, immediately in the morning I get 30, 40 newspapers free of cost.
Wonderful.
It may be pirated, no, I don't know.
sir, please tell me also where I can get 30, 40 newspaper. Okay. Next. Yes. Answer the question, okay.
Mr. Bhuyar, the newspaper you said you received, you say now it has been by law stipulated that you cannot forward PDF files of any newspapers. Supreme Court has given an order, and you might be, a law, action can be taken against you. Because I had some groups who had tried to, some persons were giving PDF files. I informed them that it is illegal, and the admin of the group will be held responsible if anyone circulates PDF files of newspapers. Supreme Court has given an order that this is illegal and legal action can be taken against a person who forwards such PDF files of newspapers.
So, sir, tomorrow the police might come to your house now. You have already told him that you are getting illegal newspaper. Next question, please. Yeah.
Okay, let me scare you a little bit more before I give you hope. The problem is what we've been seeing in my seniors and what we are seeing is that we have never faced, journalism in India has never faced this kind of a challenge, say, after emergency. We have been getting smaller threats. Like during the Rajiv Gandhi time, there was an attempt to bring some sort of laws to control the journalist. But that was fought because that was successfully averted because journalists came together to fight against it. But today, when these broadcast bills are being brought and basically to control that digital space, which is so far independent, it's very difficult to bring everybody together. That's thanks to the corporate model. So the problem is now gone deeper. But the future, of course, is there because I look at it also as the best time to do journalism. Because if you have to uphold the importance of journalism. Why do we need journalism? I'm actually asking basic questions to myself and to our readers. Why do we need journalism? Why do you read the papers? Is it by habit that you have to have it with your cup of morning coffee? No. Why is it that you're so drawn to journalism? You need to ask those basic questions. And I thank the government of the day and the other, whoever, because there'll be some other government that will come. The model has been placed, but we are forced to ask this question to ourselves, why the hell do I want news? So that is where you have to go back and give that 50 paisa to Karma and $1 to me. Yes, thank you.
With that, we've completely run out of time. In the old days, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to our wonderful conversation, which could have gone on for a couple of hours. But today, these days, I have to say, please like, share, and subscribe to please like, Assam Tribune, we are hosted by Assam Tribune. Yeah? So now I say, please like, share, and subscribe to journalism. Okay. Now, otherwise this session is not going to end till we get this right. So when I say two, everybody has to say in one go. No? It can't be like somebody saying this and somebody saying that. To Assam Tribune, because you've had lunch. They've given you wonderful lunch. At least be thankful for that. So when I say like, share, and subscribe to
Assam Tribune.
Okay. I think you ate less. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much from all of us.